Hello, Michelle. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic and I am excited for this conversation.
Beautiful. Me too. And thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Michelle, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say, excuse me, thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now, Michelle, because you did invest that in yourself. And oftentimes, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some couple of months back, Michelle, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Michelle, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did. And it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. And not just mangoes now, Michelle. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day, and I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Michelle that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, your philosophies, your insights, your work, the impact your work is having, and how you are offering your solutions, Michelle. This stuff's so beautiful. And just before I sent you that request, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Michelle is doing. And not only me now, because, I don't want to look selfish, and even with the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Michelle. So thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love the story of the mango tree.
So,
And when you were describing it,
yeah.
I was visualizing not only this one mango
Hmm.
tree, but a whole field of mango trees.
As though you were there with me. Amazing. I love that. I love that. Beautiful. So let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Michelle, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Michelle, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge alone, but the application of it. And you see, Michelle, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge, and darkness, ignorance. So, for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Michelle got here. Then, afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Michelle, over to you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And like I said, I love the mango tree story. It's just, when I look at that and you go through life and like you said, when you go through tragedy, you see all these mangoes kind of wilting and then you look at it in a different way, different perspective. And then the mangoes are just so fruitful. So I started out in education. So I was a teacher. I was an advocate for these children. I wanted to save the world. And I felt like I was very close to God. I was very close to Jesus. And I felt like this was what I was needing to do. And I had that intuition where I knew what I needed to do to achieve this goal. And so my mangoes were just flourishing. And then right before retirement, I really felt called to enter the spiritual world to try to help people find what I found in God and the spirituality and our consciousness. And so I did not look back. And this was right before COVID. And so I became a spiritual teacher. I help people, find themselves. And again, I have not looked back. So that's where I am today.
Amazing. I love the last part. That part where you mentioned that you've never looked back. That's a beautiful one. I tell you. And helping people spiritually, it's amazing. Because you see, we live in a very, very corrupt world where there are a series of distractions and temptations and all of this stuff. So holding on to what you believe without looking back, it's amazing. And I love that. You're doing a fantastic one, Michelle. So I've got some questions here for you. Are you ready for me?
I am ready.
Okay, let's get right into it. So, what does it mean to live in survival mode? Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. And whenever we're living in survival mode, it's very difficult to actually live fully, to actually show everybody who you truly are.
Hmm.
Because our ego is the one that helps us survive. And we tend to do that fear of flight. We want to run and just survive. And survival will make you stronger. And when God gives you some tests, you are actually being tested. And I know I used to say, he always gives me things that I can handle. And now I'm saying, don't do
Right.
that anymore. But I just feel like your heart is not in life because you are in that survival mode and you're living day to day, hour to hour. And if you look at it and say, you know what, I'm stronger, I have a lot of power, change your perspective on it. You can change that survival mode to a learning experience, to life itself because life is going to throw you some of those rotten mangoes. And you just need to hang in there and nurse yourself, take care of yourself, and you'll be able to get through it.
That was a beautiful response, and I got that. Beautiful. Okay, there was this fantastic one too, and this says, what does it mean to live from the soul? Got it?
So to lead from the soul
That's
is
right.
a spectacular thing. And that's what I think we are here to learn. And I think that is what God wants us to learn as well, that we all have his divine spark in us. We are all a fractal of God. God is all, and God made us who we are. And when you find out your soul purpose, it's almost like the mango tree has light radiating from it. You find your light, and the other trees or other people actually see that, and they want to be a part of that as well. And you not only heal yourself, but you also heal others. But to be able to live with your soul, it's when you look at a tree, you actually get to see what's inside the tree sometimes. You're going, I
Mm,
didn't see that before. I didn't know I could do that. You start seeing the magic in the world and you start finding more knowledge. If you're a seeker of knowledge, if you start to know thyself, it will start to come.
amazing. You see, you've got the ability to use the right words and infuse some amazing examples. I love that. That's a beautiful one. So, what about this one? What is Christ consciousness?
Well, I love this. Now, I will define it, and I'm going to read a little paragraph for you because it's
Okay.
kind of more in English. That Christ consciousness, if you look at Jesus, Jesus had Christ consciousness. It is not religion. It is a type of energy that you have. And if you know thyself, you start having the knowledge, and then you have pure love in your heart where you're finding forgiveness and not only forgiving yourself, but also forgiving other people as well. And so it's a lot involved, but if you have those three elements, you are in cross consciousness. It is just beyond all I can say. Okay, let me read this to you.
All right.
Remember, Christ consciousness can also be understood as divine awareness, universal love, or God consciousness, reflecting a state of spiritual enlightenment and connecting with higher self. It embodies sacred awareness and cosmic consciousness, emphasizing a deep sense oneness with God, divine wisdom, and holy awareness. This state invites one to experience universal unity, where we are all one, divine light, and spiritual unity rooted in sacred truth and the realization of unity consciousness. And it is there for anybody to grab.
Wow, amazing, amazing. It is there for anybody, everybody to grab. I got that. So you see, looking at you and just listening to you speak, you're amazing. I tell you. But you see, I believe there is something that is quite inevitable, which is challenges. So how have you been able to, overcome those tough moments, those periods when things aren't going as you planned? How did you overcome them?
And sometimes when you go through these challenges, again, it's a lot of lessons involved. And I always like this saying, you are doing great until you're triggered. And being human, you're going to have a lot of emotions. You're going to have a lot of things that trigger you. People are not going to treat you correct. And like you said, sometimes we live in a corrupt world, totally different than what we expect. And sometimes you're wanting to go route, and sometimes God will say, nope, it is not ready for you yet. You are not ready. And so you really have to, what I do is I sit in silence, I meditate, and I'm one with God, and I do prayers and I have intentions. And I always say, show me which direction I need to go. And in your heart and in your soul, you will know which direction to go. But sometimes your unanswered prayers are the best ones. Unanswered prayers are usually the best ones. And when we beg, and I know I did this when I was younger, when I said, please, God, I'll do anything. I'll do anything. And this was just a minute thing that I wanted into my life. And of course, and God sometimes is like your own father saying, I will not do it just because you want it.
Hmm.
Whatever
Hmm.
is best for you will be in your spiritual pathway. And sometimes it's just the timing. I mean, I wanted to be in the spiritual world when I was younger, but it was not the time for me. And I knew it. I had to live a human life first before I got into spirituality. And what I mean that is that I really had to find myself as a human and feel like a human before I became very spiritual.
Hmm. Hmm. Amazing. This is a very important steps. Sometimes unsaid prayer are the best ones. That's profound, I
Yes.
tell you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about survival mode, and so I wanted to ask, how does someone know that they are shifting out of survival mode? Like, what are the signs or what are differences?
You start feeling peace. And sometimes when you feel the peace, you're going to cry again because you've already cried your tears. It doesn't mean that you're going to stop crying, but you start feeling that peace and you start feeling the power. I want to tell you, one time I was going through a Bible study and I pulled out the Bible and I was reading, I was studying, and I could feel this angel presence. I could feel the peace coming through. Something I was reading was very powerful that I really needed to learn. But you just start feeling that peace. You start feeling the empowerment. And sometimes you will feel drained and no energy because you have gone through it. And it's your soul saying it's okay. Just take care of yourself, drink lots of water, lots of food, nourishment. And sometimes you may need to isolate yourself. But and if you need some more sleep, sleep. And then you'll start feeling better and more nourished and more energetic. And that's when you know that you're finally getting through it and letting go of things that no longer serve you.
Letting go of things that no longer serve you. Hmm, that's a beautiful word, and I got that. So, can you talk to us about your salvation story? How did it all begin?
Oh my goodness. Well, and I would say it just happened recently, but no. And I'll do a short version. But when I was younger, I could feel the different energy. I could feel the spiritual world. I couldn't see it. Some people can see it, but I just could actually feel it. And I could actually feel my friends' feelings and being an empath, and many times I would take their feelings home, and I'm going, "Why am I being so sad? Why am I so
Mm,
angry?" But I felt very close to Jesus. I felt like I had a great relationship with him. I would talk to him. I could feel his presence many times. And so I would say it probably started when I was younger, and I just had that intuitiveness about myself, and I just really wanted to help others. And then spirit started talking to me in my 20s, and I thought, "I am going crazy."
right.
And so, yeah, so I seeked out and I found somebody, a psychic medium in the area that could help me. And she said, "First of all, you're not going crazy. You're just tuning in into the spiritual world, which anybody can do." And so that's when it all started. And I didn't really, empower it until that retirement happened.
Amazing, amazing. But I want you to talk more on that intuition part. Why are intuitive people often misunderstood?
Oh, all the time. Because a lot of people go, "How do you know that?" Scientifically, that's not possible.
I
That
can
there's
relate.
no way. There's no way. But you've also got to remember that science is actually beginning to prove that there is something beyond what we can see,
Yeah.
beyond that we have faith for. But yes, and that's why it's very hard when you talk to somebody about it, or you try to give somebody an inspirational message. They may not be able to receive it at that time, but you're planting the seed. They may really be wanting to seek out, but they're afraid of it. But if you show them what can be the result of it and the love that you have and the joy that you have, they're going to say, "I want some of that. I want to see how you did it." But yeah, so misunderstood a lot. But when you say the spirit will tell you what words to say so that you can reach certain people, and that will tend to wake them up a little bit.
That's so true, and I can relate so well. When I received the new life from Jesus, and I came from
Mhm.
a Muslim background, and when the Holy Spirit filled me up and I started demonstrating this gift. And my dad called me weird. He said, "What you
Oh,
doing?
right.
What's going on
Right.
with you? How did you know all of that?" I tell you, so I can relate so well. So we
Well,
have,
that is awesome. Thank you for sharing. That is so
yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have one more to go. So, okay, how can children be supported in their intuitive gifts?
And I love that your dad, I think even though he thought you were a little crazy at first, I know that he was probably very proud of you also for
Yeah,
seeking where you need to be. And I think that's where the parents need to be. I think the parents need to support where their child is. And I know many times whenever you're growing up, you go to the church that your parents are going to. But the children these days, they are beginning to wake up more and feel the Holy Spirit in them. And they're going, "You know what? This church isn't working for me, or this religion isn't working for me." Just have a talk with your child and try and listen to them and try to reach where they are and accept them where they are because it's very spiritual. Everybody comes, we are so different. We're each a puzzle piece of a bigger puzzle. And so, even though you're no longer Muslim, that's still a part of you. Okay. That's still a part of you. That's kind of where you came from, your root. And you just kind of moved on to something else and you're learning something now. Who knows? You may change it in the future. And that's just the spiritual world is we're all spiritual seekers trying to find the same thing. And parents need to realize just to support their child where they are.
I got that. Supporting your child with the heart. I got it. And that's a beautiful one. And just like you mentioned earlier in the beginning, that you never look back. And I'm so proud
Yes.
of that because me too, I will never look
Yeah.
back. So,
Yes. Yes.
so to bring this to an end, Michelle, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those folks who like to reach out to you, learn more about the wonderful stuff you're doing, or even ask you questions, how can that be possible?
Okay. So, what I want to leave you with, because I want to also stick with your story because I love your story. So, make your own mango tree and make your own fruit. And the way that you can do that is to be your true self. Be who you are, show people who you are. And you are not, I am not Michelle. Okay, that's just my identity. My soul knows who it truly is. So think outside your identity. You're not a mother, you're not a wife, you're not a teacher. You are a soul of God. You are a fractal of the universe, and it's magical. So keep planting your tree, and your roots are going to be stronger, and you will get through anything. And the power, you'll have power where the wind's not going to knock over that tree. It's going to keep that tree up. Your roots are going to keep the tree up. So I'll leave you with that. And if you want to reach me, I do have a website. It's www.themichellehenderson.com. And right now, that's the hub. So if you want to reach out, I just mainly have my books on there, but give me an email if you have a question or if you want to reach out.
Beautiful. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Michelle. But before we go, can you repeat your website once more?
Oh, yes. So it's www.themichellehenderson.com. And I always tell people I did not choose the Michelle Henderson. That was the only website name available.
Oh wow, amazing. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Michelle. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this wonderful stuff with us. It means a whole lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow.